So thank you for gifting me this wonderful present to present my thoughts. So thank you one and all for being here. Yes. So are you all nervous? Well, if you're not, then you should be. The reason is very simple. Just before the talk started, like when the posters and all came out, few of them walked up to me and said, "Hey Deepak, good luck." I said, "Okay, good luck to you." I said, "Yeah, because you are taking the risk of listening to me, and that's why I'm asking you good luck. And thanks for taking so much risk in being here." The reason why I put this statement or why I'm saying this is, again, before starting the talk, we had a review with a certain people, and one of them said, "Deepak, your talk is very serious and there should be some humor." So I thought this would be the only humor you would be getting out of this speech. So hence the humor. So, what is volunteering? Volunteering is to freely offer to do something. And my definition of volunteering is being selfless. So today, from one journey, that is Nikun's journey, you're going to witness my journey through my speech today. And I'll be reliving my journey of volunteering through a collection of stories. So, here's my first story, the beginning, how it all started. So it was when I was in 5th grade, I just came back from school. I see this postcard in the letterbox, I open it, I see, oh wow, there's an amazing postcard out there, and I see there are beautiful drawings of rockets and a lot of other impact on a lot of people around us. And that's the power of volunteering. Inspire, get inspired. And that's the power of volunteering. Thank you one and all. So I just want to take a moment to thank the organizing team and Farhan and everyone of you here. So I want to leave on a brighter note. So I'm going to play one of the videos from one of the dream camps that we had in 2014. Deepak, can you please play the video for us? So you get to see what happens in a dream camp. Yeah. Put the first seed of thought of volunteering in my mind that, okay, I should be doing something. And I just told him, okay, fine, you're doing your job. So whenever there's an amazing occasion in the family, you're sponsoring their meals. So what I'll be doing is whatever prizes I win out of the quizzes and debates, I'll do my share. I'll give you my share of it and you contribute. So that's how my volunteering journey started. And at that point of time, I always thought that at some point of time when I'm able to sustain, I'm able to earn a living, I'm going to be active in volunteering. So, coming to my next story, which changed the way about thought of volunteering and what made me take volunteering very seriously. So this was during my final year of graduation. So, as a final year, it was about the college was about to end, and we thought, okay, why don't we do something noble before leaving the college and set standards for our fellow juniors. So me and 4 of them came up with an idea that, why don't we go to an orphanage and, offer some help, do something out there and come back. So obviously we called up Just Dial and figured out an orphanage nearby, and we went there and we just did a survey as to what they want, and they needed a washing machine and groceries for a couple of months. And then we thought, okay, we'll also organize a lunch so that, whoever is interested can come out there, spend some time with the children and, have a nice event. So we went back to the department. We were fortunate enough to collect around like 28,000 from our fellow, peers and the teachers. So post that, we got the washing machine, I gave them the grocery for a couple of months. So then the event started, and while the event was happening, I noticed one thing. There was this young boy of 9th grade helping all other children, in the organization or in the shelter home. I was like amused. How is this? He's a 9th grader, he's young, and everyone is around like, 5th grade or even below, but he has taken the responsibility to take care of everyone, serving them food, taking them to the loo, getting them back. I was really amused. How can a ninth grader have so much maturity of, taking responsibility and taking care of all the children out there? So I went up to him and asked, hey man, like, what is this? What happened? So then he tells me a story. So he used to come from a family where, his mom used to do daily work to sustain the family because his dad was an alcoholic. So his dad, after almost every night, used to come back home, used to beat up his mom, and this used to be a very routine scenario. So one day what happened is, it just got another level. The spat just got very intense, and just out of frustration, his mom just killed the dad. And this person witnessed it. And it was very traumatic for him, but at that point of time, he was very clear. Someone got him to this orphanage, and he had one thought in his mind. His thought was, my mom left me without thinking about me or my brother, but I am elder to my brother, and I have the responsibility to take care of him. And when I came to this orphanage, I saw everyone the same age of my brother. And they are not the reason, somebody was the reason for them to be here. But I can't leave them alone. So I have taken that responsibility to look after each and every child out. And this story kind of changed my life. That's when I thought that, how one can be so selfless and so altruistic and help each one around him. So that is something that I learned from volunteering. That's one of the key stories. That's the story of altruism. Coming to the next story. It's almost after 4 years of, after like couple of years, I joined an organization by the name Make a Difference. I'm sure there are a few Matchsters in the house. So, yeah. So this is a story from Make a Difference. So I used to volunteer in a shelter home. So there used to be one boy by the name of Samuel. So a bit of context about Samuel is someone who's highly energetic, highly positive, and whenever I go meet him, I used to meet him once in a week to go out there and teach him. So whenever I used to meet him, he comes, he jumps on me and say, Anna, did you have biryani? Because biryani was his favorite food. Though he used to not get biryani in a shelter home, but he used to always come and ask me, Anna, did you have biryani? I was like, no man, probably some other time when we go to some place, we'll share it. So that is Samuel for you. But there is one key thing that stands Samuel apart from everyone else. The thing is, his left hand is amputated. He doesn't have a left hand. So, here's the backstory to it. So when he was 4 years old, he came in, while playing, he came in contact with a live wire. And obviously he was rushed to the hospital, and unfortunately his hand had to be amputated. So his parents were daily wagers again, and since obviously they knew for a fact that they cannot sustain life, or he cannot work in future, so they abandoned him. So his grandma got him to the orphanage where I was volunteering, and since then he's there. What's so special about Samuel, which I didn't tell you, is he's a under 16 hockey goalkeeper. So he wears pad on his left hand and the hockey stick on the other hand. And he has won several tournaments, and he's been almost like he has got a several man of the match awards. And that's when I got to know the real meaning of belief. So that's the story of belief. Now the story of wisdom. So in MAD, we have an event called Dream Camp. So Dream Camp is a place where, because all these children, we go to the shelter home, teach them, and the environment that the people, the kids stay in is like they do the daily chores, they meet the same people, they go to the school, they come back, they hardly have any exposure to the outer world. So what we do is we take them, get them to a resort sort of location where we take developmental sessions, we get them necessary exposure, give them different cuisines to try out. So it's more of like say a place where they can expose or learn a lot of life skills. So in one of the camps, so we thought, let's test how aware these boys are about the world. So we had a debate of sorts, and in one of the all boys group, I was asked to moderate, and the topic that was given to them was do you think it's necessary to have equal pay amongst men and women? Or do you think, men should be paid more? So there was a lot of discussions going on. There was this one child who says, yes, it's justified that men are paid more because they work a lot, they have more strength. Okay, that's good. So there's this one guy silently raises his hand and I say like, okay, put out your point. And he says, and now it's very simple. We are all born from the same womb and we are all go to the same grave, which is 6 feet by 3 feet. So why do you want to discriminate between man and a woman in this period? I was like, wow, okay, I'm not sure where that came from, but that was an amazing story of wisdom. So now moving on to the story of maturity. So again, this was one of the incidents in Dream Camp, and there was this one boy who was playing football. He was amazing. Like when I started watching football, I could really see one player that I could relate to him was Sunil Chetri. When Sunil Chetri plays, I don't know how many of you watch Sunil Chetri, but when Sunil Chetri plays, the squad looks up to him. He was playing on that level, and also he was kind of, starting on to play for BFC, Bengaluru Football Club. So he was extremely good, and he was in 10th grade. So I just got him aside and asked him, okay, man, that's brilliant, but how supportive are your parents? Can you tell me? So he said, yeah, bhaiya, I understand. But the thing is, my parents are again, are daily laborers, and they hardly get any money. That's why I'm here. But they only want me to do well in my education. So they don't really understand the opportunities about, say, football, or what can I do with my career out of football. So out of these two, keeping my parents aside, who can be more understanding here, me or them? Obviously, I'm the person who can understand their aspect because they are only thinking the good about me, and I feel I can adjust. I'll focus on education at the same time. I know someday I'll become a huge footballer, like a superstar one day. But until then, I'll be very understanding and try to be as, like accommodative as possible with them. So that kind of taught me the story of maturity. Now, the story of impact. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm just going to read the next slide. I'm not sure whether you can read it out. So I'll read it out for you. This was written by one of the volunteers post Dream Camp after one of my sessions that I facilitated. I think I've told everyone else this story and thought I should tell you too, because it's essentially about you. When you were conducting the beautiful